so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life? Well, that's another, which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, before we jump into today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a few sponsors that not only help to make it possible to produce this show 5 days a week, but that I'm also genuinely passionate about promoting, especially since they're helping to fund all the cool projects we have in the works, such as the Positive Head app, the docuseries that I'm intending to begin shooting within the next year, and whatever else we dream up over here at Positive Headquarters to help spread consciousness across the planet. Now, if you're short on time or just super excited for today's topic and want to dive right in and skip these ads, feel free to fast forward about
2.5 minutes
to get right into today's show. That being said, I strongly encourage you to listen because the reason I'm passionate about my sponsors is because they've made a huge impact in my own life, which is why I've aligned with these organizations. And I firmly believe they can do the same for you too. The first longtime stellar supporter of the show that I want to mention is Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online with over 8,000 video titles. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. The second sponsor I'm extremely passionate about promoting is Purium. The reason I've aligned Positive Head with Purium is because I wholeheartedly stand behind their mission to end human suffering by making superfoods easily available to everyone, with the ultimate goal to help restore mankind's harmony with nature in the process. I mean, what a noble mission, right? It's no mystery that you need to bring your mind, body, and spirit into balance if a person truly intends to manifest the greatest and grandest version of themselves. And for me, for years, I honestly felt like I was ahead of the curve in the mind and spirit category, but I was only average at best in the level of care I administered to my body. Sure, I was healthy-ish when it came to the food I put into my system, but after doing a Purium 40-day transformation with a 10-day metabolic reset and cleanse, I can honestly say I have reestablished my relationship with food in a very positive way. Not only did I drop the extra weight that I was carrying as a natural byproduct of the transformation so that I'm now at my ideal body weight, but I continue to feel like my best self by starting every day with an organic Purium power shake that is made from raw superfood ingredients that were meticulously harvested, thoughtfully combined to optimize the nutritional impact it has on my body. I view the shake as plant medicine, really, and it happens to taste really delicious, and I can make it in about 30 seconds. There's actually 4 core Purium products that I take every day, and honestly, I intend to do so for the rest of my life for a very scientifically sound reason. And if you want to learn more about those reasons, you can go check out my video at positivehead.com/transformation, where I go into more detail. If you end up buying any of the Purium products, be sure and use the code POSITIVEHEAD, all one word, for a 25% discount. All right, all you positive heads, on this week's Powwow episode, I'm very excited to have my good friend Charles Clay here with me on the show. Charles is an empowerment coach. We actually met last winter at the Superhero Academy retreat just before Envision Festival in Costa Rica, and I've really been looking forward to having him on the show ever since. King Charles, welcome to the show, my friend.
Yeah, good to be here, Brandon. It's really good to see you again, brother. Man, it's been since Superhero Academy.
It has been. You know, we're not even that far away from each other, if I recall. You're in Encinitas, right?
Yep.
Yep. So we really don't have a good excuse for this seeing each other over video. Like, 6 months later, other than being really, really busy. But no, it's great to see your face, and it's great to hear your voice. And I look forward to diving in here. And I'm going to be really predictable. I always start with the same question and end with the same question on these powwows. So my starting question is this. You're in an elevator. The woman next to you looks over, says, "What's your passion?" You got 10 floors to answer. What do you say?
Improving the greatest technology on the planet, the human body, and combining that connection with mind, body, and soul.
Love it.
Simplest way to throw it out there. And there's so many ways to get there.
Yep. Well, we're going to explore. That's like sort of, all right, here's an overview of some of the things we're going to deep dive into. And, maybe the best thing to do, usually where I go next, I'm a little bit predictable. I like to get a little background on who I'm chatting with, like your story. What led you up to that passion? If you could fill us in a bit.
Yeah. So my story, I graduated from Washington State, go Cougs, in 2001, and I got my degree in kinesiology, minor in health and wellness. Always been fascinated by the human body and health, fitness, ways of improving and working towards optimizing these systems. So that was my beginning. And then from there, I got to dive into San Diego. I visited here once, and it was 4th of July, and I looked around, and there was miles and miles of beach, and you couldn't even see the sand. There were so many people. And back then I was into partying and getting unconscious every weekend. So I looked around, and I was like, this is it. Palm trees, sunshine, parties, air. January 1st.
If I'm not going to remember something, this is the place I want. This is the thing I don't want to remember when I'm unconscious, right?
Exactly. So I made the move, and I basically started my personal training business here and began health coaching. And then shortly after that, a couple years after, I went snowboarding up in Mammoth, and it was a blizzard. It was full on gnarly blizzard. And we were at the top of the mountain. They had shut the lifts down because it was so treacherous. But at first it was fun. I was like, all right, guys, just stay low, be ready for anything. And it was like a white canvas. And next thing you know, I take a jump, and I have no idea where the landing's at or where I'm at in space. And
wow.
So I freaked out. Yeah, it was crazy. I freaked out, landed in full extension, and smashed my vertebrae. And it felt like a lightning bolt hit me right in the low back. And I sat there in so much pain in this white blizzard, looking around for friends or anything, and didn't see anyone. They'd already gone down. Checked my phone to see if I could call someone. Phone's dead. So now I'm in extreme pain, and I have to get down this mountain.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you really find out your inner strength when you're faced with these kind of challenges and that kind of immense pain. And I just channeled like my inner warrior, inner Spartan, and got my butt on my board, like took my board off, had to sit on it and slide down little by little, and then fall over, take a break, and then get back on. I eventually made it all the way down the mountain and went and saw doctors. Had to have painkillers at first, and the doctors were, convincing me that I needed surgery ASAP. And as soon as the painkillers wore off, I sat with that, and it really didn't feel right with my intuition. So I declined the doctor's orders and began my self-healing journey. And
wow.
that was, that took about a year. There was a lot of ups and downs. I would get a little bit better trying everything, all these different naturopathic ways of healing, which was great to experience because it really opened my mind to a lot. And, but really what really helped was finally getting out of full throttle fight or flight mode and adrenaline, cortisol, and into surrender, rest, relaxation, and meditation. And in meditation, I remember I could barely crawl to the bathroom. I was in so much pain one day, and I just felt I had to sit and feel all those emotions that I'd been trying to cover up and not feel and hide from with alcohol, drugs, sex, Facebook, you name it. And so really I laid there in a pity party, just feeling everything, the fear, the shame. I felt debilitated. So it was, couldn't even show up to work. So all these emotions that I'd been hiding from, I got to fully feel them. And then I dropped into a meditation and said, I'm ready for answers. I know there's a way through this. And in that meditation, a friend texted me that I hadn't heard from in years. And I just ran into him today at the gym, ironically. And
really?
This guy sent me a message saying, hey, I heard your back's messed up. Check out neurokinetic therapy. That took me on an epic rabbit hole studying the work of David Weinstock. And this guy is brilliant. He's found these really unique, fascinating, and effective ways of getting to the root cause of problems. It's like etiology. It's basically using muscle testing and a lot of these modalities that are so fast and efficient to get down to the root cause of problems instead of just treating symptoms. So I was fascinated, and this was connecting so many dots for me with my background in kinesiology.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Kinesiology, for those that don't know, maybe you can give a little background, because that's kind of a synchronicity right there in itself. That's what you studied, and that's the tool he used. And yeah.
So it was all aligned, and basically,
Can you explain? I'm sorry. If you could just explain just briefly what kinesiology is for those who don't know.
In the simplest terms, it's the study of human movement. So with applied kinesiology, you can get answers from the body by essentially surpassing the mind. So you do muscle testing. So you can do this on yourself. I teach this to my clients so that they can save a ton of money on not only their car insurance, but also their food, their supplements, all this stuff.
Sounds like a Geico, spiritual Geico.
Yeah. So imagine everybody's on all these crazy diets, and yet there's so many different intolerances and allergies and going on that everybody's so different in this realm. So one simple diet is not going to work for everybody. Right. So muscle testing is really key because you can find out what your body needs or doesn't like in that moment. So, and we use the same thing in neurokinetic therapy and pain relief therapy and all these other modalities that I've collected as tools for getting the body back into alignment and back into its natural state of health and wellness. We as humans just love to hold on to resistance. So I'll dive into that a little bit more. But to continue the story, basically I got on the phone with David Weinstock and I said, I've been following your stuff. I'm in so much pain. I think you can help me. I want to learn. And he said, hey, I'm teaching a course in San Francisco right now. And I have a woman in San Diego that I can set you up with one of my top students. So went and saw this lovely lady, Christina, and she, in one session, did a couple tune-ups on me. I walked into her looking like Shakira stuck in like a mid dance move with my hip way out to the side. I was a wreck, man. In so much pain. It was hard to drive there. I looked like, the Hunchback of Notre Dame walking into this place. And
wow.
And that was representative of my alignment at the time with my purpose. Like I was so out of alignment. So
wow.
this tragedy or this traumatic experience ended up being one of the greatest gifts to allow me to learn and become who I am today. So fast forward, she did these things to me that I was just blown away. I got off the table and I was 90% better in one session.
Wow.
And, yeah. And I danced. I was like, I grabbed her, I gave her a big hug. I was like, that's it. I need to learn this. This is my epiphany. I'm going to run with it. And I went on to take David Weinstock's courses and just a fire hose of amazing wealth of information, the coolest courses ever. I highly recommend them if you're in that field. And it's just like cheat codes to the human experience and really dealing with aches, pains, and injuries. So it's been a huge upgrade for my practice and really allowing me the tools to help others that are in pain in the same scenario that I was, or help prevent them from getting to that point. Because we're all walking around with these aches, like compensation patterns going on in the body. So when you can get to the root of the relationships that are going on, like what's compensating and what's weak, and then that's showing up as a check engine light in the body, aka pain, you can actually thank your body for that response, that information, because that's trying to
tell you
body's
something.
giving you that information to prevent a major breakdown. So it's just fascinating. And so I got to go on to teach this, and it's just been an amazing tool for clients that come to me. I see a lot of clients that have low back issues. And this is one of the most common things I've been seeing lately is transverse abdominis. So that's the deep underlying muscles, right? I'll muscle test those. And so many people are walking around with weak core muscles. These transverse abdominis aren't even getting a signal. You can do sit-ups till you're blue in the face, but that's not going to cure this, because you're not getting a good neurological signal from your brain to those muscles to fire and then get the signal back to the brain to give you information about the quality of that movement. If you think of your nervous system as highways, then there's a neurological block. There's a traffic jam somewhere in that kinetic chain that's compensating or getting jammed, and you're not getting a good signal to those muscles to do their job. And in this case, the transverse abdominis, your deep intrinsic core muscles, is just like an internal weight belt. These are what stabilizes your spine and keeps you in good alignment. And they should be firing milliseconds before you move any limbs to help stabilize your spine and make sure that you're supported. So when people are walking around with these things, and it'll show up as low back pain, hip issues. So I tune in and use my weapons of mass peace instead of mass destruction. And a lot of times the jaw is a major culprit. It's really interesting. I'll have people clench their jaw, so they'll be really weak. They get a weak signal in the intrinsic core. Then I have them clench their jaw. We do the same test. All of a sudden, those muscles are back on again. So their body's telling us that their jaw is trying to compensate all the way down to intrinsic core muscles. And jaw is related to the limbic system, right? So that's associated with our emotional capacity. So if we're stressing out, a lot of times it'll show up on the right side really tight. So right side jaw, that can signify, masculine side. So a lot of feeling like you need to be out doing, going, bringing home the bacon, like get it done, masculine, adrenaline, cortisol, right? So fight or flight mode will get you there. And then we're clenching the jaw. That's disconnecting the signal to the intrinsic core muscles. There's a lot of things at hand here. This is just one example. And I've created a whole program around that called Unleash Your Inner Strength. And this is exactly how I rehabbed and then became to where I'm at now, where I feel 10 times stronger than I was in my 20s, just because everything is fully aligned and tuned in, tapped in, turned on, keeping all the muscles firing instead of contributing to compensation patterns by adding weight on dysfunction. So it's like when you go to the gym and you see someone with an asymmetrical shift in their hips going out to the side, or their knees are bone inward, or their excessive, low back arch, and then they're throwing heavy weights on top of that. It just makes me cringe because they're basically reinforcing those dysfunctions in the body, and then they need to see someone like me to get them tuned up. So I do mind body tune-ups and Unleash Your Inner Strength program, which really cool technique. We start with breathing because that is one of the greatest tools that's right under our nose, and a lot of people are doing it wrong. And so we increase your capacity for breath and teach you how to increase your internal abdominal strength and internal abdominal pressure. It's the same technique that these power lifters are using to lift ridiculous amounts of weight. And yet they are holding their breath with that internal abdominal pressure. So instead, I teach, like in yoga, how to breathe through that so that you can combine alignment, optimal activation of your core, and expansion breathing. And it's once you do this technique, once you get it down, you can literally become stronger in everything you do instantaneously.
Wow.
It's experiential. Yeah. It's powerful. So it's astounding to see clients come in with low back pain and then they leave with like a huge swag in their step. They got a new pep. It's just really gratifying and fulfilling to see the transformations that can happen so fast with some of these sessions.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like quite the journey.
Blessing, the path to get here. And that is one avenue of tuning up the greatest technology on the planet. One of the cheat codes is breath. Expansion breathing is so powerful. It's, you can get to altered states with this. You can increase your capacity for life. If we're not breathing well, then we're not taking in life fully. So it's prana, life energy. So when you ask someone, hey, take a deep breath, a lot of times you see the shrugged shoulders and like the chin kind of goes up, like they're breathing vertically. So that's a real common one. Or they're just breathing in the chest or really shallow, right? So imagine getting oxygen to every single cell in your body with giant balloon breath, right? So this is a real easy technique that I teach. And another thing that it does is allows you to calm your nervous system. And that's when the magic happens. So
absolutely.
Basically, a lot of us are running around like our bodies are prepared for running from saber-toothed tigers, or you're about to give a speech in front of thousands of people. You have no idea what you're going to talk about. It's this level of, fight or flight response, the sympathetic nervous system that's in overdrive with a lot of our population from all the stress that we're creating. And it's really fascinating. I'll use a personal example. I love coffee. I'm from Washington, so I'm from near Seattle, right? So
not from Washington, but I love coffee.
I'm a coffee connoisseur. So I would rely on this when I was trained like 10 clients a day when I first started. I was just go, gung ho, hardcore, crazy workouts. And I would rely on coffee to get through. And, after years of this, I would just hit massive walls, just total fatigue. I feel like I need to sleep for 3 days to catch up. So I realized this was not serving me well. And I was just revved up on cortisol and adrenaline. So eventually I started cutting out all the caffeine, cutting out coffee, taking a break from it. And what I noticed was I would create mental problems, melodramas, and stress just to get my fix of adrenaline.
Right.
It was like, I would create stupid stories of like, oh my God, this is going wrong and blah, blah, blah. Like it was this crazy show. Or I would, get in my car last minute or be like almost late to work, that kind of thing, just so that I could get that thrill and that dose of adrenaline. So I was super addicted to adrenaline. So that whole shift in after I had to fully surrender and got into meditation from my injury really brought me to a place of understanding the power of just being instead of always doing. So the rest and digest is where the magic happens. The parasympathetic nervous system allows our bodies, our cells already know what to do. They already know how to align and get back to our natural state of wellness. So we just have to get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's why breath is really fun and powerful because it's a great tool for calming our nervous system. If you, we're working on a program right now that should be out early next year, Marcy Locke and we are so excited about this because not only does it promote reverse aging, but also anything you're dealing with, anxiety, cool, push play. There's a breath for that. Are you dealing with fatigue? Great. There's a breath for that. Like there's just this gauntlet of ancient information that's always been available to us. And now we're sharing it all. So dropping into this, it's really, you can take it as deep as you want with transformational work. And it's just so powerful. So I'm excited for sharing all the ancient wisdom that's been around forever and the coolest tools that are right under our nose the whole time.
Of course. Isn't it always that way? What would be the number one like breathing technique that you would recommend someone who's not really that familiar with, anything aside from the way they normally breathe, which is probably, fast and shallow, right? For a lot of people who aren't really paying close attention to it. Is there a particular technique that you would recommend as something for people to start practicing to see a difference in, how they feel?
You bet. You know me, Brandon. I am experiential. I like to.
Yes, you are.
To feel it to heal it. Right. So let's do this. I'm going to teach you expansion breathing right now. So for the audience, everybody, as long as you're not driving, you can even do it driving. But we're just going to start with the ribs. So you're going to put your fingers on the side of your body, right on the side of your ribs. Relax your shoulders down and back. Now, before we even go into the breathing, Give me a rating scale 1 through 7 on your nervous system right now. If 7 is revved up in fight or flight, you're like, you got to pull somebody's leg out of a car or something that's dying. That's like crazy intense, right? Anxiety mode. And then a 1 would be super zen, tranquil, inner peace, Buddha status, right? So where are you at on that scale?
Me personally?
Yep.
Okay. At this moment, I'm probably a 3. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe a 4.
I'm like a 4 right now because I'm pretty amped. I'm excited to see you. and so here's what's cool. We start out. It's good to check in with that, right? So now put your fingers on your ribs, the side body. And all you're going to do is breathe deep there and feel your ribs expand to the sideways. So use your fingers as your feedback. Inhale through the nose. Feel that expansion and then exhale through the mouth. Nice. Easy, right? You feel that?
Yeah.
Good. So now take your 2 thumbs and put those right in the back, the small of your back. So right above your hip bone and right below your ribs. And dig them in just a little bit there. Now you can breathe to the side body and you can breathe anteriorly. That's easy. Now we're going to breathe to the posterior, the backside. So you're going to use your breath to push your thumbs out. So big inhale through the nose. Feel the thumbs push out, expand the whole backside, and then exhale through the mouth. Nice. Good. So that one's a little trickier for some people. You can practice that. And then the next one, we're going to put it all together. You get to spread your wings on this one like an angel. So you're going to bring your arms out to the side. you know why angels can fly, right?
Why?
They take themselves lightly.
Done.
We are. I got to throw some bad jokes in there just to make sure.
Yes, please. I am a sucker for bad jokes. Hit me with all the bad jokes you got, please.
So you start with your arms at your sides. Start with them down at your sides, and then you're going to inhale and feel expansion in every direction now. Side body, front, back, all the way up to your hair follicles and down to your toenails. So inhale, spread your wings. Exhale, let them come back down. Nice. Now that you got the feeling of that, you don't even need to spread the wings anymore. You can just use that same expansion breath. So we'll do a couple more of those, visualizing like a balloon expanding in every direction. So big inhale through the nose. And this time you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 5, and exhale for 6. Ready? Yep. Inhale for 4, hold at the top for 5. Just let that oxygen disperse to every cell. And then exhale for 6, nice and slow. Yeah, nice. So this is adding a little pranayama to expansion breathing. So 4, 5, 6, you can do box breathing and add in another number in there for holding after the exhale. But I like to keep it really simple. If you do about 5 to 10 rounds of a 4, 5, 6 expansion breath, check in with your nervous system now. What number are you at right now?
I'm probably at I haven't done 5 of them yet, but I definitely feel like energized, but calmer. So I would say probably a 2 or 3.
We're down to a 2 or 3 on the nervous system now, right? So
yeah.
So that is a great, easy exercise to calm your nervous system, get you back into rest and digest. And that's when healing happens. And that's when you're open to receive answers. That's when you can digest better. So it's great to use before you eat, like right before you have your meal. It's great to use at night to calm you down if you're feeling anxiety or any time that you're really feeling stressed out. You can just use this as a great tool to calm your nervous system and add more focus and channeled energy into whatever you're doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, now seems like a good moment to take a quick minute to tell those of you who aren't familiar a bit about our sponsor, Gaia. I've been a big fan of Gaia for many years now, which is why they're the only content provider I've ever reached out to in regards to potentially supporting this podcast. So needless to say, I'm very excited they're now supporting the show. Gaia truly is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web. They have an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. Just to give you an example, on the show Missing Links, the incredible researcher Greg Braden explores all the biggest questions concerning who we are, where we come from, where we're going, by connecting the missing links between science and spirituality to complete our understanding of humanity's history and to better understand the interconnectedness of all things. Awesome, right? And that's just one example. As you guys constantly hear me say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to go deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. You know what I love too about obviously knowing that you are so committed to the physical healing and getting your physical vibration in order, and your story is like super inspiring. And I remember that from when we first met, hearing about how jacked up your back was, and you're like, they're not seeing you now, but you're like in like perfect health and shape. And, it reminds me of, I actually just heard a similar story from Dave Sandoval, the founder of Purium. Same thing. He was in a bad accident and they were like, you need surgery. And he just like threw, lots of holistic, lots of green shakes, as he put it. And, he actually dissolved the bone fragments that he had in his back and like all kinds of stuff. And now I just actually happened to see him last weekend at this retreat for autistic children I went to that was hosted at his property. And A guy ran and, he's probably close to 60 years old, I guess, and ran and jumped over a fire. Like he was supposed to have back surgery. So it's super inspiring to see people that are able in tapping into and are brave enough to say, yeah, doctors, no, I'm not going to go the route that you're telling me. I'm going to go on my own path and in the process unlock these other tools, these tools that are there waiting for us to be discovered. And it seems like you're doing that on all levels. You're doing that, really tapping into this the breathing techniques and taking that to a new level. And I know you just gave us a little taste there of one technique that we can use, but you're kind of coming at this empowerment thing from all angles, because the first thing that jumped out to me when we met, you were talking about vacation vibration, which I just loved. I'm also, in addition to being a sucker for like really bad jokes, also any kind of plays on words, any type of like simple rhyming that, it just like, oh yeah, vacation vibration. Perfect. And you talked to me a lot about that when we first met. And that of course is really getting your mental vibration elevated into its optimal perspective, which is in alignment with what it's like when you're on vacation, is the way you put it. And why don't you go take over from here and give your explanation of what that means?
Yes. Vacation vibration. Isn't that just fun to say?
It is fun to say.
Yeah, it's got a ring to it. And it is that feeling that you get even when you begin to book a trip, even when you book a vacation or you, that excitement you get. And then when you go on this trip, you feel like a new person. It's like tuning into your higher self when you get that excitement, that novelty. Everything's new. Everybody you're meeting you want to like reach out, meet more people, find out where all the good spots are, dive into the culture, and it brings out the best in us. So if we know that that's possible, that feeling, then why can't we incorporate that into our daily lives and into our business?
Right.
We can. Good news is it's all a mindset, right? So the body's always responding to the mind and vice versa. So what's really fun is you take that same vibration and you can literally tune into that frequency whenever you want, just like turning the radio dial on your radio in your car. If you don't like a song, doesn't feel good, you're listening to like Miley Cyrus or something. I don't mean to hate on her. She's probably got some great stuff, but
right.
You're not digging that. You turn the station to a new frequency, and then you find something that elevates your feeling, right? In your body. It's more expansive. So it's the same thing by using the power of intention. So intentional living can create, basically what you're doing is you're activating your reticular activation system. So reticular activation, that's retina, right? Our lens at which we see the world. Okay. So the way we see our reality is through all these veils of past experiences and traumas and beliefs and all these systems that we've accumulated, right? So when we begin to look through some of those veils and use the power of intention, it's like putting on a new lens at which to see your reality through. So this is really simple stuff. It's breaking it down to, I set the intention of giving some golden nuggets and sharing some cheat codes on this podcast and having a lot of fun doing it. So I tune in. Good intention. Right? So what I've just done is I turned on my reticular activation, and now that's the phenomenon that it's a great example would be you get a new red Tesla, right? And you're driving down the road and you're like, yes, this car is epic. I'm the only one driving this. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, there's another one. There's another one. They're all over the place. You start seeing them everywhere, right? So it's not because they weren't there before. It's that now it's on your radar, your reticular activation. Totally. So this phenomenon is working all the time. If you wake up and you decide, I'm having a bad day, you just turned on your reticular activation for evidence that you're going to have a bad day. So you stub your toe, you spill your coffee, like someone steals your parking spot, like all that stuff, right? So why not choose intentionally before you go in each room or before you go into your car? How do you want to feel? What's the frequency you want to tune into? So here's an example. I went to the closest place to hell, the DMV. So I went to the DMV to renew my license. And before I walked through the door, I set my intention. I'm going to have some fun and make as many people laugh as possible in this place. Because the DMV and hospitals have the lowest vibration. I swear. If you're not careful,
so right.
It'll just like
it will suck you in. Yep.
And then you walk out of there like a zombie. You're like, oh, what just happened?
What just hit me? So and the employees are like, man, I mean, they deserve some kind of special medal because they live in that vibration. And a lot of times you're interacting with them and they truly are like zombies. It's like, it's fascinating to observe.
It really is. And hospitals are the same way, and then they got these cell towers on top of them, and it's like and the vibes there just so I go into hospitals with an intention like Patch Adams. I go in there and same thing with the DMV. I just go in with the intention of having fun, and then opportunities show up. You get to create my conversations that you can evoke laughter. And I'm doing a meditation in the DMV, and I have a kid next to me that has a huge brace on his knee. And I said, what happened, man? You kicked too much ass? And he goes, I wish, man. I strained my ACL and blah, blah, blah. And he's got to get surgery. And I was like, man, have you ever tried meditation for healing? And he's like, no, what's that all about? So boom, gave him a meditation that I used when I was dealing with the back pain. And set him off. He was excited, raised his vibration. And then next thing you know, I'm doing some yoga moves. I'm the only guy doing yoga asanas in the DMV. I got people looking at me like, what the?
So good.
And I'm looking at them like, you could just sit there. It's the same thing at the airport. Like you're sitting before you're about to do a lot of sitting on an airport on your flight. Right. So I would rather be dancing, doing some yoga, stretching, feeling in my body. And what that does is that creates conversations. Like people are interested and they're like, wow, something's different here. So then you spark these conversations. I ended up seeing a friend in there. He got his number called and he goes up there and I go right behind him. And I said, ma'am, is this gentleman bothering you? Cause I can escort him out. And she starts cracking up and he's laughing. He's happy to see me. And so then by the time I get called, I go up there and I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, I look her in the eyes and I go, I am so excited to see you. She's like,
that's
whoa,
so epic.
Really? I'm like, yeah. Do you know how long I've been waiting? And I showed her my watch and my watch just says now. And she just starts cracking up and she said, oh my God, my husband has like 20,000 different watches and he doesn't have that one yet. And I was like, this one's way more accurate. And
it's so funny. I made that watch. I'm sorry to interrupt. Like 2011, I think at Burning Man, I took one of my watches and modified it and put now on it. And I remember what was so funny is because when I'd hold it upside down, people thought it said Monday sometimes. And, depending on how I'm holding it. Right. And so then people would be like, why does your watch say it's Monday? And I'm like, hold on, why are you being negative, man? Why do you got a case of the Mondays, would be my joke. But now it's funny. Now they're actually making them. At that time, I had never seen them. Now I've seen a bunch of people. I feel like, were you wearing it in Costa Rica maybe? Or some other people were? Yeah.
I give love them out those. To all the cool kids that are present.
Yes, love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. So same thing. And I do the same thing with Mondays. I turn Mondays into Fridays and Saturdays with intention. Like I go out. I mean, literally, I live in paradise, so it's really easy to do here. But you can use a little imagination, set an intention, and then jump through that portal into activating anything in your radar that will stimulate the fun or new opportunities or laughter or whatever you want to feel. Really, you just tune into, okay, how do I want to feel? And you want to feel excited, you want to feel accomplished. That's the one I go for whenever I have a huge to-do list. I'm like, I could easily get restricted and feel all the, oh my God, I'm never going to get through all this. Take a couple deep breaths, set my intention. I want to feel accomplished. I want to feel focused, and I want to feel celebrated. So that's how I handle to-do lists. And then with Power of Breath, I can focus on one thing at a time. I set 20 minutes to rock out this task, put on the right music, and I'm like, bam, laser focus, brush it out. And then you're on to the next one. And then you whip through all this and you feel accomplished. You feel celebrated. And that leads me to another point, celebrating your victories. Like we as humans create these epic goals and we have amazing dreams. And then I see so many people reach their goal and they're like, whoa, where's the next finish line? I was like, whoa, hold on. You forgot to celebrate that finish line.
Yeah.
Let's rewind here. So celebrations don't have to be, alcohol and parties and stuff. You can celebrate the fact that you said no to a cookie because you committed to not eating sugar that week,
Right.
And by doing that, you're creating a new neural pathway. So instead of letting your Labrador brain get the best of you, ooh, treat, let's eat it. Now I feel like crap because I'm guilty and I'm got a bellyache because I ate too many sweets, that kind of thing, right? That's the old pattern. That has been hardwired. That's like the yellow brick road. It's that's pretty fine wired automatic system. We know the result for it, right? So now when you decide to go a different direction, you see the stimuli, the cookie, the sugar, and you go, you know what? That's not going to help my ultimate goal. So I'm going to go do something else, go on a walk, have tea, any of that, right? By doing that, you created a new neural pathway. And then that gets stronger and stronger every time and becomes a lot easier to say no to those temptations. And each time you say no, you can reinforce that by celebrating that victory. So you can dance, shake your booty a little bit, sing, put on a song. Doesn't matter. And if you're dancing because you said no to a cookie or something that simple, you're tapping into your natural pharmacy. So you're getting the endorphins pumping. You're getting your serotonin, it's oxytocin. You're getting those feel-good hormones flowing through your body that you were hoping to get from the cookie.
Right.
The dopamine, serotonin, you can tap into that without the external substances. So it's easy cheat codes, and that is just a taste of vacation vibration. So I get to share this at festivals. I give talks at events, and it's really a lot of fun because it's super. I get invited to these events, and we get everybody super activated, and it's just great changing people's perspective and remembering what's possible.
Yeah, it's the most rewarding thing, and it's just coining a clever way to put it to give people something to grab onto. Call it vacation vibration, and bringing that energy, making it. I mean, I challenge anyone listening, including myself, tomorrow or now or whenever you're listening to it, like after you're done listening to this podcast, set an intention to go out and say, okay, next time I'm in, maybe you're on your way to work right now and it's a certain vibe every single day. It's the same vibe. It's a predictable vibe. You've got the same neural pathways sort of wired to what you expect, of what you get, what you feel, to go and do something to mix it up and see if you can, and make it a game to actually bring that vacation vibration. First off, now, before you go in, start drumming up the vibration of what it feels like when you're on vacation, right? And then go in and bring that into the space that is typically DMV-esque, and watch the magic that you create. And then you realize, hold on, I always have this much power to not only alter my own vibration, but everything around me. And you become this like fountain. And then, of course, what's great, not only do you have fun in that moment and take something that maybe otherwise would have been mundane, and you totally elevate it. But now, if you want to know what you're going to see tomorrow, look at what you're feeling today. So now you've activated, the law of attraction, the law of emergence. You're calling in similar scenarios that that mirror that vibration that you're offering. So you might start bringing that to work every day. And next thing you know, like the boss comes up to you after a couple of weeks and say, I don't know why, but I just felt like I need to send you to Hawaii and here's the ticket. Like seriously, that's how this shit works. Like you don't know what angle it's going to come from, but it will just know that it will be mirrored back. And so you're really it's like you were talking about with the cookie, it's starting that domino effect in a good way, right? And next thing you know, you get addicted to these good vibrations and you are shifting things from within instead of waiting for it to be some external reflection. And then, once I land in Tahiti, then I'm going to get into this vibe of, carefree, life is beautiful. That's easy enough. Like how you create that coming in is through this, as I always say, be it to see it. And that's another kind of my version of vacation vibration. It's like, it's such a powerful thing to make a game out of.
Yes, exactly. So here's a good example. This subtle game of vacation vibration will change your whole world. So you decide that your intention is to feel more love, right? Everybody likes that, right? Who doesn't like love? So you go to a cafe that you've been to a million times. You go to the same place to eat lunch or whatever, but this time you create an entirely new experience with the power of intention. So everybody you go and see in that cafe, including the barista that takes your order. Yeah. So you walk in, you see the barista, you tell her you love her without saying it. Just saying it with your eyes.
Good. That's so good.
It might be the first time in that day or that month that person actually felt loved and important. And then when you ask her how she's doing, you actually stick around and listen for the answer. Another cheat code in the human experience. Become a better listener. Yes. That's where all the magic happens. So these little shifts can change your entire reality. And it's all about taking the journey inward. So we take our magic wand of attention and bring it inward. That's when the magic happens. We start bringing light to the places of darkness in ourselves. And on that journey, you might meet your demons or your dark side, your shadow sides, right? And these are the things that we usually run from or we fear. But let me tell you, in my experience, all those demons, they just need a freaking hug.
Yes. Invite your demons to tea.
They need love. They just haven't been. It's like the kid in the class that is always acting up and trying to get attention in all the wrong ways. And nobody wants to give him any attention or love. There's those parts in us that we're not paying attention to and trying to avoid or resist. And as soon as we bring light and love to those areas, bam, everything shifts.
Yeah.
Your whole human experience changes. Beautiful. So it's really fun to witness with my clients. That's why we hold retreats, teaching, experiential. I mean, we have, I'm so excited about this retreat coming up in January because we have a team of all-star facilitators. And I'm teaming up with Dr. Allison Snowden and Yogi John Beck. And these guys are epic. And we're putting together an experience of a lifetime. And it's January 3rd through the 10th in Bali. And it's called Follow Your Bliss to Bali retreat.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. It's going to be jam-packed.
How do people that want to participate in that get involved? Or is it still open for people to get involved?
Yep, it is. We have some spots available still right now. And there's even early bird discounts if you jump on it. So you can check out www.followbliss-to-Bali.
Follow Bliss to Bali.
www.followbliss-to-bali.com. And that experience is going to be incredible. We have an amazing spot in Bali and adventure tours, fire dancing. You're going to learn how to activate your genius with play. We got yoga every morning, acro yoga, meditations. It's going to be epic.
That sounds epic. It definitely sounds epic. I got to back up real quick, though, on one of the things that you said that just like gave me chills a moment ago when you were talking about walking into the barista or any stranger and like telling them you love them with your eyes, like not saying it or just sending that message to them. Like that is such a powerful, simple thing to do. And I haven't really ever set out intentionally to say, okay, I'm going to go and literally send the message of I love you to whoever I bump up against. But I can already feel the ripple effect of what that feels like, and what a powerful way to play. To instantly, when you're sending that, what are you feeling? You're feeling like love is washing over you, right? And then you get to watch this invisible wave go and sort of wash over this person that you're directing it towards. Like, what a way to work out your muscles, if you will. It's just like, it's such an incredible idea, and I just absolutely love it. I can't wait to like step out into the public, especially where there's places where people are grumpy, and because I of course always try and raise the vibration and everything, but once again, when you have like okay, this is exactly what I'm gonna do, like here's the method, it always helps to focus things, hone things in more, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Those little fun exercises will change your entire reality. Just watch it unfold. Yeah. It's beautiful. You'll attract more love in your life. You'll attract more fun in your life. You'll be on the vacation vibration and there's no looking back. It's so fun.
Yeah, exactly. The vacation vibration train. In speaking of embracing your demons, which I think is super important. I had Matt Kahn on not too long ago. I don't know if you know who Matt Kahn is, but
of course.
He was on a few months ago, and he says, I think he even has a book titled Whatever Arises, Love That. And I absolutely love this idea of, your demons, the shadow stuff. It's really just energy blocks, part of you're this complex, multifaceted, multidimensional being, and you have parts that are that wounded child, right? And sometimes maybe it's lashing out, right? Like the kid in class, like you said. And when you realize that, instead of hating on it, you love truly is the answer. My favorite quote, love is the answer. Now, what was the question? And it truly is, man. I mean, it's like, how do I bring that to whatever's arising? And, you posted something that is sort of in this vein of dealing with shadow or rejection, actually, in this case. And I was just so impressed by the post, the Facebook post where you talked about starting to, kind of spending an afternoon with this woman that you were very interested in and getting rejected. And then you went public with, okay, I'm going to share my story of rejection. And, that's the other thing that I think is becoming more and more, people are becoming more and more aware of, that vulnerability like that is a superpower, because everyone can relate and then feels through your bravery to not just step forward and say, oh, look, I'm Charles and I'm like in perfect health and I'm good looking and I get all the girls. You're like, you step forward and say, yeah, I just got rejected and here's what happened and here's how it felt. And I think that's really was powerful. And maybe you could just share a little bit of that story.
Yeah, that was actually the hardest video to push play on for me, and the hardest video to push send on as well. It was challenging because I was working with my own demons of like, what are people going to think? All the judgments, blah blah blah, right? When in fact the message was so strong and it had to come out. It was like this, like just follow my intuition, and every time I follow my intuition, life keeps getting better. And the way I did through that was one simple story about, how this beautiful woman rejected me. And instead of running and letting my 15-year-old inner child program kick in and be like, I don't like this feeling, I'm out of here, screw you. I sat with it. And I actually, I said, I'm really glad that you shared that, because and that you stood strong in your no, because it's, I found that it became less of a rejection and more of a redirection. It's like her saying no to me in that moment was her saying yes to herself. And so that actually gained respect from me. And then I got to sit in my uncomfortable emotions for a moment. And then I went home and wrote that night. And that's when all these golden nuggets came from that experience. Like all the gold of like sitting with these emotions that we think are so heavy, or that we don't want to talk about, or we don't want to deal with, like rejection. We've both been on both sides of rejection. I mean, we've rejected people, we've been rejected. This has happened through our whole lives. So why aren't we talking about this stuff? It's a human emotion. This is all part of the human experience that we signed up for, and if we can sit with the heaviest of emotions, you'll find there are some golden nuggets in there. And when you take the gold from those experiences and you share them, that's called alchemy. That's taking from the darkness, bringing out the gold and sharing it with the world. And that's why vulnerability is so powerful, because it allows for a deeper level of connection. We're all human. So why aren't we talking about the challenges that we face in being a human? Why is it so bad that we feel jealous, or that we've, it's not okay to feel sad or angry anymore? Like, that's just ridiculous. It's all energy. So I encourage everyone to feel it fully, because I've had to peel so many layers of resistance of emotions that I tried not to feel, and that which we resist persists, right?
Indeed.
And it becomes issues in our tissues.
I like that.
So it's an ongoing journey, but I love experiencing the whole spectrum. And the reason that I'm on vacation vibration all the time and feeling these elated feelings of bliss and love and joy, and it's my natural state, is because, one, it's a choice. Two, because I've experienced the contrast and I've been willing to sit with that. Experience depression, sadness, grief, like all the heavy emotions. Like, I don't need to hide those anymore. And now it's like, sit with it, feel it fully, and this too will pass. And and you gain so much from that, and the power of contrast, because contrast is something that we don't get when we leave this human experience and go back home to energetic state. It's I don't know what your beliefs are, but I'm very clear on the fact that up there's no duality. It is just love. It is just expansion, love. And so here is the accelerated learning, because we get to deal with the fucking shadows and the hard stuff and the contrast and the heavy emotions. So see if you can find a way to enjoy that stuff, because you're not willing to go and sit with the heavy emotions, then you're not going to expand your capacity to feel a new level of pleasure and bliss and joy. And if you are willing to go there, then you've just increased your capacity for life. So I'm open to feeling the full spectrum.
Yeah, I think for the roots, the roots have to go equal. The higher you reach, like, the roots have to go equally deep, right? So, and it takes being able to, I think, if you can bring that perspective of, okay, I'm going to experience pain and hurt and any of these things, and I'm not going to run from them anymore. I'm not going to be the little boy who got rejected, and instead of, oh, she doesn't want me, screw her, I'm, get out of my car, or I'm exiting stage left as quickly as possible, to sit with, one thing that's only in recent years for me, whenever I've been exploring that type of like romantic connection, and if it's something that I'm interested in and I'm not getting it reciprocated back, it's like, at one point, that 15-year-old, would be like, okay, like you said, I'm out of here, screw her, whatever. And it's like, oh, it's more of like a curious exploration of knowing what's for me will always be for me, and what's not won't. And I know how worthy I am. So why do I ever need to try and fit, some particular person into that space? If they're, it's like trying to force something when you don't really know what's best for you. You may have an idea, and you're like exploring turning over rocks. But if you turn over a rock and it's not it's not, the gold underneath it that you hoped. Guess what? There's a lot more rocks, and maybe one that's better suited for you. And so, approaching it where it's like, you don't need to ever force anything. And I'm assuming this is some of the type of work. I know you've got a lot going on, my friend. You're also just starting an empowered men's group, right? And I'm assuming this is some of the stuff that you're kind of going into, our relationship with how we're interacting with women?
Really excited about this program we're creating. It's called Empowered Men. And it's a brotherhood to ignite the king within each of us. And
I love that you say that too, because as soon as I met you, it's like I instantly started calling you King Charles, like I did it because you just have that this guy looks like a king. I wish I had video to go along with it now. You just have that like regal, I don't know, like you should definitely, if Game of Thrones is casting for a new king, you should go like audition. So I love that you're doing that. Like you're working that into one of your groups. That's awesome.
Of course. I've had so many brothers just struggling through their awakening, just feeling lost, depressed, and not understanding what's going on, and they feel alone and isolated. So I really feel a strong call to team up with a masterful friend, and we are creating this program for those that are ready to step into that they feel that call of like, I know I can show up as a better version of myself, and giving them the support through the heavy shit too. That's where helping them find the gold in the heaviest of emotions, and knowing that it's okay to fully express that and transmute that energy into something great. So really excited about this because it's, we still have, we're just getting going on the application process. So we're taking a few good young kings, princes, and Peter Pans, and going to transform them into king status, and not the old version of a king. Like now, the new version of a king, like showing up with empowering your people, like a life of service where you get to share your gifts, your talents, and your passions. That's really what this is about. Everybody's got so much gold inside of them, and we want to help them facilitate and allow that to be shared with the world.
I love that. One of the things you should make as part of your whole, offering, if there's anywhere to put quotes, I don't know exactly what the setting will be like, but if there's a web page or anything like that, I think back to, I had a poster years ago and it says it all, exactly what you just said. And it's, a quote by Lao Tzu. And I've said it, I don't know, at least a dozen times on the show. And I actually quote it all the time. It's one of my favorite quotes. And it's, why is the sea king of 100 streams? Because it lies below them. Therefore, it is king of 100 streams. And that's exactly what you're talking about, right? Like that's this ancient quote by, Lao Tzu, but it's so relevant as we come into our true understanding of what it means to be a king, to serve, to lift others up, right? And that's the real, that's not the ego king. That's the king that's there understanding like what I do for you, I'm doing for self because we are one, right?
Right. There's a new king emerging. Yes,
indeed.
And so it just fires me up to see the transformation and creating this, a place where men can feel safe to fully express themselves and to grow and to unite as a brotherhood and move through these dark ages into a place of full expression and being able to share your gifts, your talents, and your passions with the world. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, dude, you got, and not only that, you have one other new project, which is not so far removed from what we're doing here, the Soul Sexy podcast.
Soul Sexy,
brand new,
yep,
fresh out the box.
It's so good. Yeah, we recently teamed up with LA Radio, so our next show will be in LA, airing there, and and I've teamed up with Brigetta, who is just amazing. We both bring the masculine and the feminine into a humorous stage, and talking deep about some of the, powerful things of our spiritual journey. I mean, we had amazing people on that are channeling aliens, and using that.
We've had some of that for sure.
Their client. Yeah, it's like it's fascinating stuff, and just so many gifted people like you have on your show that it just creates this kind of spontaneous flow of conversation and experiences. It's so fun to watch unfold.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm so looking forward to seeing that. I'm glad that I was able to bring you on. Yeah. Cause I know there are going to be people that are going to want to tune into that, who are listening here. So I'm assuming they can find Soul Sexy Podcast pretty much all the places, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud.
So you can even watch it. We have it's basically like a show. So you can watch it live. You can watch it live on our page, Soul Sexy Podcast. You can watch it on my page every Thursday at 3:33. So
cool.
We got that. And then if the men out
on
there
Facebook
are feeling, Yep. Facebook, okay. Charles Clay, easy to find. And then we have. You can check out.
Yeah, and he's also you're in the Positive Heads Facebook group, I think. So any of you P heads out there that are in the group, you can find Charles there easily. In case there's more than one Charles Clay, it's the Charles Clay in the Positive Heads Facebook group. And if you're not in the Positive Heads Facebook group, get in there. Get there.
Yeah, and you can always get more information at my website, www.greatestyou.com, and that's the letter U. And it's easy to find me. You can even reach out via email. My old school email. I still have a Yahoo account. How about that? I like to keep some old school. Charles R. Clay at Yahoo. Reach out if you feel the call to be a part of the Empowered Men Brotherhood. Then reach out, because now is the time where we're taking applications for that. If you feel like you have been working your tail off and you are ready for the vacation vibration and you want to step into the power of being instead of doing, then follow your bliss to Bali with us, January 3rd through the 10th. It's going to be an epic retreat. So excited for that. And then be sure to tune in to Soul Sexy Podcast every Thursday at 3:33. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So good. All right. So we're getting down to it, man. It really went quick here, but I'm not letting you off the hook without a story of synchronicity, or a story of serendipity, or just a positive paranormal story, something inspiring, weird, any inspiring and weird. You give it to me.
Yeah. I love that you do this. It's so awesome. So I'm going to use I'll share a story that, is how I got to exactly where I'm at right now. So
beautiful.
I was moving and I was in transition. And so I used vacation vibration. It's just combining, just like Joe Dispenza, you combine a heightened state of emotion with the crystal clear intention, and then let go of resistance and allow for everything to unfold. So my intention was, I wrote it all out. I want to live on the ocean. I want a pool. I want a sanctuary outside that I can take my clients, get them tuned up, tapped in, turned on. I want to live right in Encinitas. I want to have a golden retriever. And I even had a little bit of, different frequency energy about that. I was like, in the future, I want to have a golden retriever. Not quite yet, because I'm still traveling a lot. I had this, mixed vibration about that. And then, like all these details, right? And I only wanted to pay like a ridiculously low amount. And all the self-doubt thoughts come. They're like, that's never going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And I just swipe left, let them go on like waves, right? And then I tune back into the frequency of already feeling what it's like to have that, to be that, to feel that. And while I was asleep, I got a message from a friend on Facebook that I didn't even know. She got wind that I was looking for a place, and she sent me a link, and I opened it, and it was right on the ocean. So I jetted over there. I met the owner. He gives me the tour, and I'm like crapping myself. I'm like, this is better than what I just wrote down. And he goes, well, what do you think? You want to move in? I was like, this is a funk. Yes. And he goes, great. You're the first one to apply, and come fill out the application, meet my girlfriend and my dog, Ben, who's a golden retriever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you like dogs? You can walk him anytime you want. So I basically just even got the, permission to have a part-time golden retriever dog because he lives right next to us. And
so good.
It's just like straight out of a storybook, So
how long was the lag? How long was the lag between you getting in this heightened state, writing down what you wanted, and then getting into the place? Was this like back to back, like saying like in a super short period of time?
I had to do the trust fall. I gave my 30-day notice at my last place, and my friend was the manager there, and he said, "Oh, you found a place?" And I was like, "No, not yet, but I will. It's going to be perfect." And he's like, "Well, all right, good luck with that. You got like 30 days to find a place." It was right after that. So I'd been doing those meditations, feeling what it was like to live on the ocean. So now I'm overlooking the ocean with a pool, and I'm watching like pelicans fly by at eye level, and I get to use the best of empathy. This is interesting with the human psyche too, is that when we think of empathy, what do you think of?
Understanding someone else, feeling what they feel.
Mm-hmm. And what feelings usually?
Typically, I think of, if they're feeling something that's not so good relating to them.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that interesting? So why not tune into the greatest of empathy? Like this hit me when I was at the Sting Reunited tour. Sting and the Police, they got back together, and I was
I love Sting's like one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. He turned me on to two things. One, I literally used the best of empathy and jumped into being Sting in that moment. And it was like reunited with the Police, the old band, and the way he just radiated this vacation vibration to everybody, and it made everyone move and feel like epic. I was him in that moment. And it's the same. And then I heard about how he was into Tantra, and that opened up that reticular activation to all kinds of new cheat codes and ancient wisdom that I've incorporated into my practice. That's for the next podcast. And so here I am sitting on the cliff overlooking the ocean of this place I just manifested, and I jump into being this pelican that's in V formation with its friends, and it has absolutely no effort. It's just completely effortless, just cutting through the air, just bliss. It's amazing.
Wow. I love that. That's incredible. And funny enough, a Tantra teacher that I recently met just texted me as you're talking about that. So there's a little add-on to the synchronicity.
Synchronicity. It's on your reticular activation now. It's going to be everywhere you look.
It is, man. It's so true. And regular, or longtime listeners or even short-time listeners know it's truly the case. I get so excited about synchronicity. So it's so activated. So what happens is it's just nonstop unfolding. There's some level between me and the listeners and what the question they wrote in, and then what happened. And then, it's just like, it's on and on and on, and it just gets up leveling, and it's incredible the way these threads of connectivity continue to reveal themselves as we sort of continue on this journey of self-awareness and expanded awareness.
Yes. Speaking of connectivity, I'm so grateful for you, Brandon, showing up and sharing your gifts. You connect epic people. Just bring people together. Like it's so cool to see such an amazing gift that you're sharing with the world, and getting these golden nuggets and these amazing messages from all the greatest and latest out to the world. So really appreciate you, brother.
Oh, thank you, man. I definitely appreciate you. And this is everything I had hoped it would be. I'm so excited to hear that you have launched Soul Sexy and all the things that you're doing. I mean, I know your star is going to continue to shine, and I look forward to following your journey. And we definitely need to connect in 3D again, since we're so close. And yeah, man,
check out the Seaside Sanctuary, brother.
Yeah. I'm feeling inspired to do that. So definitely, we'll do that sometime soon. And you've pretty much let everyone know the best way to connect with you. So I do have one last question for you, though, before I let you go. Is there anything that you want to leave people with before I ask you the last question?
We went over the best of empathy, and I don't know if you guys caught this yet, but being a better listener is like one of the easiest cheat codes. I'm always working on mastering that one, and it allows you to learn so much. And I believe that that's all that we get to take with us when we leave this human experience, is all the codes, all the experiences, all the knowledge, and we get to collect that and allow that to be in the ether so that's accessible to everyone and everything.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one that a lot of people, I know myself, can be weak on sometimes. It's like thinking about what you're going to say next instead of really listening to what the person is saying. And we all are really good at transmitting. I know I am. I do a lot of transmitting, but receiving takes a little more, grace and finesse and moving into that receptive state. And that's sort of what meditation is about, right? And we're constantly putting out, transmitting, and if you can receive, not only can you pick up more information from your fellow, man and woman, you can receive more downloads from, expanded higher self. And I think that's a really important, thing to add to that whole thought. Huge.
That's why presence is the greatest gift that you can give your loved ones and yourself.
Yeah, it is the present. Beautiful, my friend. Well, I have one last question for you, Charles. King Charles Clay, in 60 seconds or less, what is the meaning of life, according to you?
The meaning of life. Feel it all. Feel it all. That's it.
Love it.
Sweet
love
and
it.
simple, baby.
I love it. Love it. Very, very well said.
Full effect.
Yes. I love it. It's well said.
Enjoy the game of life.
Well, I've definitely enjoyed this part of the game of life with you, my friend, and I look forward to the next time we get to co-create and play. Until then, journey well, my friend.
It's been great. Awesome connecting again, Brandon, and I'll see you soon, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Take care, my friend.
Ciao for now.
And that concludes our powwow for today. And actually, I normally don't play a song at the end of my powwows, usually the daily episodes, shorter run daily episodes, but it seems awfully appropriate to play one today. In honor of Vacation Vibration, I've got a song here for you I want to leave you with. This is Mike Love. The song is called Permanent Holiday. Till next time, journey well. Love you all so, so much.
must eventually open up our eyes and see they're manipulating we with so much uncertainty and so many mysteries. Why are so few questioning the unnatural state of things? It's a nightmare, we're living in a nightmare. Everyone's living so scared, they're virtually unaware of this fear that rules their lives, occupies, consumes their minds. This fear of bankruptcy, financial impotency. It's money, 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 money. It's all this digital currency, oh yeah. It's all this monopoly money that keeps us from ever being free, oh yeah. So it seems we'll be in this prison for life. Buying and they'll keep selling the lies. So it's up to I and I. Mind in I rev make sell I change man words I be I own I be nip like mind show in take I seek rev make life sell I be change seek manifest words speak I fuse be press I make own I won't be manipulated, mind control and inundated. I will seek a revelation, make my life a celebration. I will be the change I'm seeking, manifest the words I'm speaking. I refuse to be imprisoned, I will make my own. Lord, I wanna be manipulated, mind controlling, inundated. I will seek the revelation, make my life a celebration. I wanna be the change I'm seeking, manifest the words I'm speaking. I refuse to be imprisoned, I will make my own decisions. I'm on a permanent holiday, I'm going out, it's time to play. I ain't send a slave away. That gonna conquer it, Babylon. I'm never gonna be a part of their manipulation games. I'm taking the reins and breaking the chains. I'm never gonna kneel away. My prophetess have been sent, no preacher but president. Gonna lead us astray. We'll never know, you're thinking the highway, oh God. I'll never go astray. Oh, no, 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 la, 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 la. I'm living the past, the past, the freedom is here to stay. We got to take back the knowledge. We got to take back the power. We got to take back the knowledge. We got to take back the power. We got to take back the knowledge. We got to take back the power. Take back what they have stolen from our hearts. And we got to take back the esoteric knowledge. Oh Lord, for too long they've been keeping us apart. Oh yes, we got to take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, don't let this be our final hour. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, don't let this be our final hour. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. be our final hour. Take back the knowledge, oh, take back the power of humanity. Don't let this be our final hour. Take back the knowledge, oh, take back the power of humanity. Don't let this be our final hour. Got to take back the knowledge, or take back the power.